light. So you kind of have to figure that out for yourself. Chains are chains. I buy mostly rolls of chains. This is a roll of chain at 10 degrees, GB chain. That's a roll of roll of Archer chain. That's actually skip full chisel, I think at 25. I filed a couple of these down to 10 degrees. Yeah, that's full chisel 25. Chains are chains. I saw something the other day. Somebody was talking about rip chains and saying, "Oh, you got to get yourself a rip chain." Chains are chains. All right. There's no on a Carlton chain that's filed at 25 or a Carlton chain that's filed at 10. They're the same chain. The only thing that's different is the angle on the teeth. Unless you get a specialized Gramberg, which is a chain that's had every third and fourth cutter cut in half the long way. I'll show you. So on a Gramberg rip chain, they have a 10 and a 10 degree full tooth, and then a 25 and a 25 half tooth that are ripped in half the long way. So they take off half the tooth this way. So it's called the scoring cutter. So the cutter's only that wide. And they file those at 25 degrees. Not that it matters. You could do them at 10 too. You could do the entire thing at 10. It doesn't matter. But what they found is the scoring cutters will score the edges, and then the rip full cutters rip the chunks out. They like it that way. That's how they do it. That's fine. I don't use Gramberg chain. I use just full comp, semi-chisel, Carlton chains for 90% of what I do. But chains are chains. This rip chains versus cross, other chains is just not true. The chains are made up of exactly the same components with exactly the same cutters on them, filed at a different angle. And, you're going to have to mess around with what you like. Guys that are out on the West Coast falling timber, or up in Canada falling big timber and big softwood timber, are going to like their teeth different than I like the teeth cutting, oak and locust and maple and so on and so forth. So you got to find what you like. I find that if I file everything, all my crosscut chains at 25 with a hardwood setting on the rakers, I never get into trouble. And if I file all my milling chains at 10 degrees with a hardwood setting on the rakers, they cut smooth, and I can cut out to 56 inches and I don't bog the saw down. So that's just what I do. So hope this helps somebody. And if you guys ever have any questions, just reach out. I do have a grinder. If I rock a chain, I have a clamp hanging in my shop on the inside. Anything that really needs work, if I hit, a granite rock or something when I'm milling, those chains that need serious repair will go in my inside shop. I'll grind them all back to past the damage. If I have a tooth that gets bent, I'll cut it right off. If you have a chain like this that's missing 2 or 3 cutters, it's not going to make any difference. I have rip chains for my 36-inch bars that are missing 5, 6, 7, 8 cutters, and they still cut perfectly straight and perfectly smooth. I do, if I broke off, 2 or 3 on one side, I might take one off on the other side just to balance things out a little bit, but it doesn't really make a difference. The other thing, I know that tooth size, especially in ripping, tends to be a hot button topic. If you set your teeth with the individual raker gauge like I used and I showed you, your teeth do not all have to be the same size. If you don't, and you set it with the other one, they do, or your chain is going to chatter. Here's a cheap and easy way to check them. You're going to want to find the smallest tooth on your chain. You go around and set an adjustable wrench. Check all your teeth. You'll find your smallest one. Once you find the smallest one, you're going to start there. Set your wrench to the smallest one, and then file each tooth until the wrench just fits over it. That's a real fast, easy way to get all your teeth real close to the same size, but you have to start with the smallest tooth, which is a pain in the ass. If you hand file these chains over and over again and you never check them, we all will file one side harder than the other. It's no matter whether you count strokes or not, you'll end up with one side with shorter teeth. I can already tell, I think this side, this tooth is shorter than this tooth. Actually, let's check it. Let's get it set to this one. See if it'll slide around that one. I'm just going by eye. And it won't. It won't go around this tooth. So this tooth that my wrench is on right now, the wrench isn't going past the tip, is longer than this tooth that the wrench just fits nicely down over. And that just means that when I file from the front and I file this side, I'm hitting these harder than I'm hitting these. But if you set the rakers with the individual raker gauge, it doesn't make any difference at all. And if you get if I found out, sometimes I'll get a customer chain that's real wonky. These will be teeny and these will be huge. If I get a customer chain in like that, I'll take it to the grinder and I'll grind them all the same size. Then I'll come out and hand file it to I just think the hand file gives you a better profile. I don't square grind, I just round grind everything. So that's it. Hope I had enough. Sure I forgot something. So if you guys have any questions, hit me up. But that's it. It's starting to get dark. I'm going to blow these two saws out with my compressor really quick and I'm done. So have a great day.